Well, there are consequences to theft, and here to talk about that is Lima attorney Jerry Pitts. Welcome, Jerry.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's always good to have you on, Jerry.
Oh, you just tickled me to death. However, on the subject of this theft, now we're going to just deal with retail, where there's all kinds of theft by deception, et cetera, et cetera. But we're just going to deal with retail, and I'm going to tell you a few pointers. Now, theft, what people need to know is knowingly obtaining control of someone else's possessions that don't belong to you, and you know it.
Right.
You know it. Now, lots of times people say, well, in stores, they'll say, it was an accident. I didn't realize that I didn't put that on the table, or I accidentally put it in the bag. Now, lots of times, those kinds of what they call it. Now, accident is a defense, but it's rarely accepted. It's rarely accepted. So I'm going to give people some pointers. First thing you need to know is don't use the self-checkout line unless you absolutely have to, or unless you have one or two items at best, which you should be able to count to know I got one item, two items, so therefore.
It's my favorite thing to use, Jerry. It really is.
Stay away from it. Because what happens lots of times is sometimes people have items that they have under the cart. And if your mind is not on it, you will simply walk out of there, and here come that buzzard, and hear you saying, oh, this is by accident. Well, a lot of that's going to depend on what's your past about. If you had any other past theft-related situations, it's going to be hard for the courts to accept that you didn't know what you was doing. So if you're not sure, the first thing I tell you is to not use it. Unless you got one, two items, maybe three, that you can count and you know I have accounted for these items. Number two, don't go to the store and use someone else's cart. Like you go into the store with two people and you say, we'll share a cart. No, that is not a very good idea, because you cannot keep account of what you have versus what they have. And what if their intentions, your intention was not to take anything, but their intention was. So therefore, you can get caught up in that. And now you got to explain to someone that you had no intent for this to occur. But it's that old saying, you got to be careful of the company you keep. Now, if you're with someone that you know got a history of theft, you should be very cautious about going shopping with that person. Because lots of times, if those who have the intent to take, they go like 2 or 3 deep, and they spread out. Now, those are what they would call is acting in concert or conspiracy to take. And whatever those people take is counted towards you if you are involved with them. That's why I tell people to always be careful with that. And the best thing to do is go shopping. If you're going to shop, it's normally best to do it alone. Or secondly, be aware who you are with. And thirdly, if you don't have the proper economic resources, don't go to the store at all.
Well, there you go. That's always good advice. You know, you don't want to spend what you don't have.
You can't.
Well, there you go.
And you don't want to get tempted.
And I guess just be careful, you know,
Right.
especially with those self-scanners and whatnot, because things could happen.
Right. And then you'll be in a position that even though you might not have been comfortable and you might be totally innocent, is that being with the person you're with, it can get you in a lot of trouble.
All right. Well, Jerry, thanks for coming on today. I really appreciate it, as always.
Oh, you just
I know I butter you up.
You just tickled me to death.
All right. Well, don't go away, because medical news is coming up next.